50,000 people are screaming your name, and most of them do not want you dead. That is the first thing everyone gets wrong about your life. This is not a slaughterhouse where men are butchered for fun. You are far too valuable to be thrown away like that. You are an investment, trained for years, fed like an athlete, treated by real doctors, worth a fortune to the man who owns you. When you fight today, the odds are you will walk back out of that gate alive. But the odds is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Let me show you your day. You live in a ludus, a gladiator school. It is part barracks, part gym, part prison, and it is run like all three at once. Behind these walls, men train every single day to do one thing well, and to survive doing it. The man who owns and runs it is the lanista, and you must understand how he sees you, because it explains almost everything about how you are treated. He does not see meat for the crowd, he sees capital. Every one of you cost him money to buy and more money to train, and a dead gladiator earns him nothing. A living, winning, famous one earns him a fortune. So it is in his cold self-interest to keep you strong, healthy, and alive. Cruelty, yes. Carelessness, never. You are worth too much for that. There are a few ways a man ends up here. Some of you are enslaved, prisoners of war, or bought for the arena. Some are criminals, sentenced to the sand. And some, surprisingly many, are free men who volunteered, who signed away their freedom, took an oath, and chose this life on purpose. Why would a free man do that? For money, for fame, for the roar of the crowd, which is a drug unlike any other. A successful gladiator can become a celebrity, adored, wealthy, wanted by admirers. It is a gamble with your own body as the stake, but for a man with nothing and no prospects, it can look like the only ladder up that exists. So you took the oath. You swore to endure the burn, the chain, the blade, and death itself. And now here you are. You wake in your cell on a fight day, and it feels different from every other morning. The training days blur together, but this one is sharp. Today you will stand in front of the whole city, and today the wooden practice sword becomes steel, and today the arithmetic is real. You lie there for a moment doing what every fighter does, listening to your own heart. Then you eat, and you eat a lot because your diet is built for one thing: bulk. You are fed enormous amounts of barley and beans, so much that gladiators are nicknamed the barley men. This is not fine dining, it is deliberate. That heavy starch builds a thick layer of fat over your muscle, and that fat is a kind of armor. A slash that would open a lean man's gut instead cuts into padding first. You are being fattened on purpose to survive being cut. Before the fight, the physician looks you over. And this is another thing that stuns people who imagine your life as cheap and brutal. The medical care here is some of the best in the entire Roman world. The famous physicians of your age sharpen their knowledge on bodies exactly like yours, treating wounds, setting bones, studying how a living body works by patching up the men who keep breaking theirs. Your body is a map of everything it has survived. Old cuts, healed breaks, wounds that would have killed a farmer or a soldier who did not have doctors watching over him. You are dangerous, yes, but you are also cared for, studied, and repaired. Because a healed gladiator can fight again, and a fighter who can fight again is money in the bank. Every scar on you is proof of the system that keeps you alive to earn. You are not just a gladiator. You are a type, trained in a specific style, armed and armored in a specific way, and matched against a type designed to be your opposite. The whole appeal is the contrast. Heavy against light, shield against net, brute force against speed and reach. Maybe you carry a large shield, a short stabbing sword, and a helmet with a fish-like crest, a walking wall of armor built to press forward and grind an opponent down. Or maybe you fight almost naked, with a net to tangle your enemy and a long trident to keep him at a distance, trading all protection for speed. These pairings are chosen like a good matchup in a game. The crowd does not want two identical men. It wants a puzzle. Can the wall catch the dancer? Can the dancer stay out of reach? Today you are half of that puzzle. You survived your first fight, which the crowd finds slightly disappointing. Subscribe and give them a reason to keep you alive a little longer. They line you up in the tunnel beneath the arena. You can hear it before you can see it. A sound like the sea, but made of people. 50,000 of them packed into the stone, roaring for blood that is mostly not going to be spilled. Your mouth is dry. The men beside you are silent. Everyone is somewhere far inside their own head. Then the gate opens and the light and the noise hit you like a wall, and you walk out onto the sand into the center of the largest crowd you will ever stand before in your life. This is the thing the volunteers came for. There is nothing else like it. For one moment, before anything happens, you are the most important man in the world to 50,000 strangers. And then your opponent walks out of the gate across from you, and the moment ends. The fight is not the wild frenzy people imagine. It is skilled, patient, and technical. You and your opponent have both trained for years. You circle, you test, you feint. A trained referee stands right there on the sand with you, watching, ready to intervene, because this is a regulated contest with rules, not a free-for-all. The crowd wants skill as much as it wants danger. A clumsy, ugly, one-sided killing bores them. A long, brave, brilliant fight thrills them, and a fighter who loses well can win the crowd's love even in defeat. So you fight not just to win, but to give them a show worth remembering, because their opinion of you is not entertainment. Their opinion of you might be the thing that decides whether you live, and then it turns. It usually does, one way or the other. Someone slips, someone tires, someone lands the blow that ends the contest. Say it goes against you. You are down, disarmed, your opponent standing over you, and now the fight stops, because here is the truth the movies bury. The winner does not simply kill you. He cannot. That decision is not his to make. The decision belongs to the man who paid for these games, the editor, watching from the best seat in the house, reading the mood of 50,000 people. If you fought bravely, if the crowd wants you spared, that pressure is enormous. And sparing a beloved fighter costs him nothing and buys him goodwill. A dead gladiator, though, must be paid for in full to the lanista. Killing you is expensive, sparing you is cheap. The arithmetic, once again, is mostly on the side of your survival. So you kneel in the sand and you wait, and the whole arena waits with you, and everything in your life comes down to a gesture from a man you have never met. Most days, on most fights, that gesture spares you. You are led out through the gate you came in, bleeding, exhausted, alive, to be stitched up by the doctor and fed your barley, and sent to do it all again another day. But not always. Sometimes the crowd is against you, or the fight was dull, or the man who owns the day simply decides it goes the other way. And on those days, the oath you swore comes due, the one that promised you would endure the blade and death itself. You knew this when you signed. Every man who walks onto this sand knows it. Survival is likely, it is not certain. And living with that gap day after day is the real price of the roar. Back behind the walls, the doctor works on you, and the school settles into its evening. You survived. You will fight again, maybe in a few weeks, maybe sooner. And if you keep surviving, keep winning, keep giving the crowd what it wants, something almost unthinkable comes into view at the far end of it all. Freedom. A gladiator who fights well for long enough can earn his release, sometimes handed a simple wooden sword as the symbol of it, a discharge from the arena, a life bought back one fight at a time. Very few make it that far. But the possibility is real, and it is dangled in front of you deliberately, because a man fighting for his own freedom fights harder than any man fighting only for his life. So forget the story you were told. You are not a doomed man dragged out to die for a bored mob. You are a trained professional, fed and doctored and protected, more likely to survive any given fight than to fall in it, fighting inside a system that wanted its expensive investment to keep breathing. But do not swing too far the other way and call it safe, because it was not. The gap between likely to live and certain to live is exactly the gap you stand in every time that gate opens, and enough men fell into it to keep the fear real for all the rest. You lived with better odds than the legend claims, and worse dread than any of us can imagine, and you did it in front of 50,000 strangers screaming your name. Most people in history lived and died without a single stranger ever knowing their name. You had 50,000 of them, all at once, chanting it into the stone. It might have cost you everything. For a man who came from nothing, some days that trade almost made sense. That is where we leave you. If you survived the video, you are already doing better than the person you just played, so do the small thing. Like it, subscribe, and I will drop you into another life next time. Same voice, same stick figures, someone else's very bad day.